All right, in this video, I want to focus on 3 things that you should not be focused on if you have recently been cheated on. So essentially, there's a lot of things that our minds tend to go to when we've been the victim of that type of betrayal, and they're just not healthy and they're not helpful. So there are 3 of them in particular. Number 1, do not focus on the details of what happened. I've seen this mistake with a lot of different people where they will figure out that their partner cheated on them, and they'll want to know everything about, who was it or how many people were there that you cheated on me with. And then the gruesome details of like, hey, where were you? What did you do? Did you have sex with them in ways that you and I have sex? Was there anything that you did differently? Like really wanting to get into the details of it. And it's just not healthy, because what often happens is people will do that and really push their partner to tell them everything. And sometimes those partners will eventually oblige and share all of the intimate details. But then what happens is you form mental pictures of what happened, and you know that those things are somewhat accurate, and they just keep popping up, kind of like an intrusive thought over and over and over again. There are ways to kind of push back on intrusive thoughts and to minimize them, and I can make a whole video on that potentially in the future. But you don't want to create that problem in the first place. So don't ask those types of questions of your partner. You can establish kind of the basics of what happened, of course, but don't dive into the nitty-gritty details. The second thing to avoid is trying to obsessively figure out why your partner did it. That is something that they might have a straightforward answer, and that's fine. But oftentimes, people will start asking themselves and wondering over and over again, what did I do wrong? Or where did I lose their favor and lose their interest? And there's some value, of course, in taking responsibility for the things that you did. There's value as far as it goes, like trying to become a better person for yourself or for any future partner, or if you are able to make things work with them. There is value to understanding, okay, what exactly happened? Where can I improve? But it's the obsession where you want to dig out their heart and find this deep secret that they're holding against you and say, okay, this is it. I know it now. I can see why you hate me. And one problem why this is wrong is it often presupposes that there is something just completely wrong with you. And I just don't think that's true. The majority of the time that people cheat, it has to do with, one, there usually was some background where the relationship wasn't as exciting or fulfilling for them as they wanted. But the reason that the cheating happened is because instead of them choosing to address those problems, they chose to go out and cheat. So it is not something fundamentally wrong about you. There's not some deep darkness within you that caused them to cheat. So just let go of it. Stop trying to figure out the exact precise reasons why they cheated. And then number 3, don't try to convince your partner that you're in the right and they're in the wrong. This only applies to some contexts, but most of the time, the person who cheated on you will not be willing to just flat out say, yes, I cheated on you. You did nothing wrong. I was completely in the wrong. That is extremely rare. Even in cases where people eventually reconcile, the person who cheated is often in denial about it for a long time. Sometimes months, sometimes years, sometimes even just a few weeks or whatever. But think about it. It's not going to be this immediate turnaround most of the time, because they had to be lying to themselves also the whole time to convince themselves that this was okay to do, or they just have no conscience. That is a possibility. But most of the time, if people have some type of conscience, they had to deceive themselves first before they deceived you. And so don't expect them to just immediately come out and say, yeah, you're right, I'm wrong, how do we fix this? That's very, very rare. And so notice the theme in all of these. In all of these obsessions that people can get caught up in after being cheated on, it all boils back down to wanting some type of what I call fake closure. You're wanting the other person to say things to you that you believe will give you a sense of, I can move on, I can have closure with this. But as you probably know somewhere deep down, any sense of peace or closure that you have will come from processing the feelings that you have and making decisions about what you're going to do moving forward, and just also finding peace with any insecurities that the whole affair, no pun intended, brought up for you. Closure has to come from within. It's not going to come from the person who just hurt you. So hopefully that helps somebody out there who is going through this. I feel for you. It is really, really difficult. And let me know if there's anything that I mentioned here that you want me to go into more detail in a future video.